Now, they're not panicking because ICE is raiding. They're panicking because it's finally being filmed. Illegals, they're getting dragged out. And Democrats, they're losing it. Not over justice, but over optics, because when the truth hits video, their laws obviously fall apart. Welcome to Team Think. We don't follow narratives. We break them. Let's start here.
No, sí, estamos grabando ya. Transmiten en vivo. Hagan en vivo, Facebook, váyanse a Facebook, hagan en vivo. Ya estamos aquí adentro ya. No importa, y si me quieren correr porque estoy grabando, no importa.
The question that's posed here is, how do you feel about ICE raids in the workplace?
A la Gran Vale cayó migración. Ay, santo Cristo. Why are you handcuffing him? What did he do? He's not cooperating. He's there still. So why are you doing this?
Motherfucker gotta listen to y'all. Hey, let's don't escalate anything.
No, you guys don't give a fuck. You guys don't give a fuck.
I just know what's up.
Now, as you can see, man, there's no more whispers. No more sanctuary. ICE walked into that building like they were invited. No, I don't blame them. This is what enforcing the law looks like. Yet every liberal who swore they supported legal immigration is crying now that illegals are facing consequences. Now, I want you to watch what happens when justice shows up before the camera do.
More about the arrest of two men in West Palm Beach for the repeated sexual abuse of a young girl. The police chief calling it a heinous crime. An arrest report shows the alleged abuse happened at the Sunset Place apartment on 36th Street until this week. The victim confided in her babysitter, who then alerted DCF. Officers arrested two men, both from Guatemala. Police say the victim lived with both men. The young girl told investigators she had been molested every day, possibly for months, and was also hit with a belt by one of the men.
When the crimes,
Disgusting.
heinous crimes, did in fact occur. Both suspects voluntarily confessed to the repeated sexual abuse of a child under age 12.
Chief Tony Araujo did not take any questions while announcing the arrest this afternoon. He says the suspects are facing a combined 7 charges. More about the arrest of two men in West Palm.
Somebody wrote, Dapper detective actually wrote alligator lunch. Two men, a belt, a child. This didn't just slip through the cracks, y'all. It was protected by cowardice and open border politics. Now the same people fighting to unmask ICE agents, pretty sure they won't say a word about the girl left bleeding. And the sad part is, this ain't rare. It's just rarely reported. Now, watch how Florida's changing the rules of engagement.
Also see higher levels of arrests by ICE compared to other states throughout the country. And that is not necessarily surprising because California and Texas are border states, and many of the detainees taken into ICE custody there have been transferred from Customs and Border Protection custody after entering the country illegally across the Mexican border. Also, in the case of Florida, that state is aggressively helping the Trump administration by deputizing more than 3,000 local policemen and troopers as federal immigration officers. Also see higher levels of arrest.
So this is how you take the gloves off. 3,000 officers, state-backed, federally deputized, and ready to move. DeSantis didn't just send a message, man. It seems he built an army. I can imagine. Liberals, they're terrified. Why? Because once ICE has backup, the excuses stop. And here's what that support looks like. Boots on the ground.
This is what immigration enforcement can look like in the Pittsburgh region. It also looks like federal agents staking out courthouses and raiding restaurants. But they're operating under a growing watch. I've been on the ground with volunteers who race to the scene to bear witness, educate people about their rights, and offer support. Casa San Jose's Rapid Response Network has trained more than 250 volunteers to respond in real time to ICE sightings, arrests, and raids. They come prepared as legal observers to document actions and support people at risk of being detained. Outside Tepache Mexican Kitchen in Mars, volunteers were present as agents arrested 14 workers. Jaime Martinez, an organizer for Casa San Jose, broadcast a prayer in Spanish through a megaphone.
Ruega por nosotros pecadores, ahora y en la hora de nuestra muerte. Amen.
The next day, protesters gathered at an ICE field office in the South Side to demand justice for the disappeared. On July 22nd, an immigration attorney called Martinez to request an escort for their client at Pittsburgh Municipal Court. ICE had been reported outside the courthouse within the hour. Martinez had a plan. The client, an interpreter, a Venezuelan woman, and a man from Honduras would walk to the exit with the volunteer. Martinez would pick them up in his car. It went off without a hitch. Explore more of this story at publicsource.org.
Y'all look at this. Obviously, one side is chanting, the other side is clapping. You think America's divided on this? We're divided on whether the law should apply to everybody. Like, think about that for a second. This is the moment ICE became public again. And they know it. And just like clockwork, here comes the stage performances.
And we will absolutely bring this to a higher court.
And then finally, on just the Democrats that keep, sort of complaining out there that they can't get into these ICE facilities. They keep showing up unannounced. They don't make appointments. And then they think that it's their right as elected officials to be able to get in. This is Jason Crow from Colorado on this seemingly never-ending fight with ICE. Watch.
What are they hiding? Why don't they want people to know what's going on? And this was the first time in years that I've been denied access to that facility, which is a violation of federal law. The law actually clearly says that members of Congress should have unannounced access to these facilities, and they've denied that, which is why we filed the suit.
Patricia, you guys have never denied them access if they would have just given you a heads up. Why do lawmakers think that they can just show up unannounced? Is that
because
true?
This is about political theater, Aisha. Secretary Noem has spent many years in Congress, and she knows the value and importance of oversight. This isn't oversight. This is political theater. Congressmen like this one want their 15 minutes of fame. They want their clickbait. They want to do fundraising emails to drive money to their pockets. And that's exactly what this is. And we're not going to let our detainees, our staff, or our security be at risk because these congressmen want to play politics with our detention facilities.
Okay.
No,
Trisha
that's
McLaughlin, live for us from Washington. Trisha, thanks for being on the show.
Thanks for having me.
Why won't ICE let us in? Maybe. Y'all keep showing up like TMZ. Just maybe. No appointment, no process, just cameras. That ain't oversight. That's opportunism, if you ask me at least. And the only thing they're inspecting is the lens angle. Now, here's the real goal behind the chaos. Legal amnesty without resistance.
And to my Republican colleagues who say, I don't want any undocumented people in this country, I actually agree with you. So let's document every single one of them with a speedy path to citizenship. And to my Republican colleagues...
Wow. This isn't reform, man. That's what you call a takeover. Just saying, once ICE... I'm saying once they give them papers, ICE can't do a thing. And they know it. That's why they racing to legalize millions before the next cycle. And before many of them get flushed out. The next 4-year cycle. I don't even want to say the word. Mass amnesty. I always fumble that word. I always say amnesty or amnesty, but it just means mass votes. Simple math, if you're honest. Let me show you exactly who they're trying to protect next.
This is sad. Oh. I don't know. This is a very sad day in America, though. I'm telling you right now. This is wrong.
I tried to kidnap my parents' neighbor. He lived here 20 years and has been trying to gain citizenship the entire time. He has a family, owns a home, and works legally. He can't work legally if he's here illegal. If you voted for Trump, you voted for a modern-day Hitler, is what everything on this screen said. 20 years, family, home, still illegal. Let me get this clear. Well, let me be clear, rather. Presence does not equal, permission. You don't get to break in, live comfortably, and then cry when the cops show up. That's not injustice. That's what we call enforcement. That's how it works. But here's the trap. Democrats want to handcuff ICE before they even get a chance to knock.
Across the country, I think we've all now seen these frightening videos of ICE agents showing up completely masked and without any identification, showing up where people go to work, where kids are being dropped off for school. This is just unacceptable.
Masked agents grab people from job sites or public spaces. We've seen the cell phone video and heard accounts from people who insist the agents never gave a name or agency. Now lawmakers want to change that.
These actions create a whole culture of fear in many communities. We would never expect our local law enforcement, I'd never expect the Virginia State Police to show up at my door totally masked and without identification. I don't know about you, but I couldn't do my job with a mask over my face. And I'm not sure you could do your job or show up without any responsibility for your action. That's why I've put forward new legislation that would require ICE to operate under the same standards that our state police do or that our local law enforcement does, where you have to be visible, you have to be willing to demonstrate who and show who you're working for. If we expect this out of local law enforcement and our state police, shouldn't we expect the same from ICE? Transparency creates trust, which is what law enforcement needs, what we all try to bring to our jobs. But with the awful, big, cruel bill, the tax bill that gives tax benefits to the wealthiest, as well as cutting health care, one of the things that was dropped in there was a massive increase in the ICE budget. The ICE budget now totals $37.5 billion a year. That's bigger than the whole FBI's budget. That's even before you include all the FBI agents who are no longer doing crime investigations but helping ICE. That $37.5 billion is more money than every country in the world, other than the top 15, spend on their military. ICE budget bigger than the whole Brazilian military? Is that really who we are as a people? We're a better country than something where masked individuals are picking up moms dropping off kids or somebody that's simply showing up at the courthouse to pay a parking ticket.
Yeah, shut up.
I hope the Congress will act on this legislation.
Oh, thank gosh that's over. They want ICE agents exposed, unmasked, ID'd. But why? Because if criminals know who's coming, then they'll never get caught. That's what this is for. This isn't about transparency. It's about retaliation. Expose the agents, cripple the mission. It's not policy, it's sabotage. But while they argue, ICE keeps doing what they were built to do. Arrest this man right here. Drug trafficker. Deported quietly. Weapons, drugs. 60-month sentence. He's gone. Let me read the caption on this. Drug trafficker deported. Isnt New Orleans deported Abraham Melcher Vargas, a citizen of Mexico. His criminal history includes convictions for weapons offenses and drug trafficking, for which he was sentenced to 60 months in jail. Found, arrested, and deported. Yep. No protests, no headlines, and no blue state outrage. Because when ICE gets it right, the left gets quiet. Proof? You probably didn't even hear about this until now, did you? They're going to keep trying to play ICE like they outdated somehow. And they're going to keep trying to frame deportation as racist. And I'm here to say, they said sanctuary cities were safer, but they lied. They lied. Because ICE is here, stronger, faster, louder. And the only ones that are afraid right now are the ones who benefit from the chaos. If you haven't already, definitely follow me on these platforms right here. Shout out to the 4 Times Club. I'm going to drop a few names for y'all real quick. Here we go. Boom, bada, boom, boom, boom. We got a shout out to Love the Lord, Jesus Praise the I-32, and it got cut off after that. Dave-ZB1ZV. Denise P. Denise Pretty, 6421. Who else can we give a shout out to? Let's shout out to Seeker One, Gloria Flowers, Jens, Karen Hogan. These are members now. Cindy Banks, Vero Frati. Oh man, I probably messed that name up. Alex Stein, Tammy Anderson. Thank each and every last one of y'all for making this channel what it is. Y'all be safe. Please go check on somebody today. You can quite literally be saving their life. I'll see you in the comment section. Peace.